People of the internet, tonight we are debating, is the Quran scientific? And we are starting right now. So, welcome to Modern Day Debate. I am your host, Kaz of the Atheist Edge, and among other things. And tonight we have TJump crossing swords with Samir. Let me just put them all on the screen. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Nice to see you. They will each have 10 minutes each for their opening statements, followed by 50 minutes of open discussion and 35 minutes of Q&A. And going first tonight is Samir. So, Samir, at your first word, I will go ahead and start the clock.
Okay. Thank you very much. First, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Peace be upon everyone who is watching this video, either live or recorded. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. I pray God to guide me through this debate and ease me to find the words to describe what I wish to transmit to the public. First here, I would like to clarify a couple of things. And I surely, honestly hope that whoever is watching this debate, you will clear all prejudice that you have, and you would just open your heart and open your mind and weigh what you hear and use your own judgment. Do not use the judgment from things that you've heard through the media or through Islamophobic people or through any type of other sources. Number one here, I would like, before I enter the topic of the Islam and the science, I would like to emphasize something. I always hear that the burden of proof is on the believers, and that is totally not true. Because here I want you to think about this in a philosophical way, in a psychological way, where imagine if there is an asteroid hitting Earth that was written in a book 2,000 years ago, whether in the Quran, in the Bible, or in the Torah, and there are 4 billion people on this planet that believe that, and that some people tell you no, it won't happen, and then you start to see signs, not science, signs that it's happening. Astronomers tell you that there is an asteroid of a certain shape or whatever is predicted that just entered the solar system. And then it would reach Earth like in 4 years. And then, but it's going to be 40 million miles away from Earth. And then they adjust the calculations a couple of years later and they tell you that it's going to be 2 million miles away from Earth. And then 1 million miles away from Earth. So you're seeing the signs little by little. And then you see people escaping. They're getting ready. They're getting buses and they're clearing the town because they know the exact geographic part of the earth where it's going to hit. Those people getting on the bus, they don't owe you any proof. You owe them that they will tell you the proof. You owe it to yourself to ask them for the proof. Because if you stay there, you risk to get destroyed. If you leave with them, nothing will happen to you. So based on these bases, I would like to say that the Quran is a book of science, and I want you to clearly make the distinction. And those signs that are given to you are supposed to guide you to find the science. And I always hear that, okay, but the Quran does not predict. I always hear this throughout most interviews, and I'm probably going to hear it 11 times tonight. That how come it doesn't predict? How come the Quran or the Bible or this will always wait until we discover something, we work hard for it, and then they say, you see, it was written here 2,000 years ago. Number one, that is not rational thinking. Reason why? Because, okay, I'm gonna, okay. Number one, it is not rational thinking. The reason why is because if it was written 2,000 years ago, the sign was written 2,000 years ago or 1,400 years ago in the case of the Quran, and then you discover it now, and you find out that your whole science was wrong for centuries, and then you just aligned with what was written before, then of course it predicted it. That's on one side. Number two, the Quran can make other predictions. I don't know how to change the screen because it's getting. I'm not used to this. I'm not a debater. You can notice I don't speak
Do you need a
17,000
moment?
words a second. No, you would notice that I would treat this with the utmost respect. And
If you need a second to figure it out, I can make
no,
some announcements.
no, it's fine. It's fine. No, what am I gonna say? Yeah, I'll avoid this. I'll avoid mentioning what's going on. Anyway, so when the Quran tells you if the moon splits, you sit there and you shake your head and you laugh. Because why? Because you're comparing it with the science that you have right now. Because you think that your astronomy and your geology and your earthly science have achieved the ultimate knowledge. And let me tell you that your sciences, which are my sciences as well, and the Muslim sciences, they're not the atheist sciences. This is another fallacy that keeps that is always told to people. The atheists didn't do anything. The atheists are just growing up. Most atheists are 15 to 29 years old, so you would know. The United States is not an atheist country. Europe is not an atheist continent. The atheists are the minority in the United States. That they're the minority everywhere in the world. Most people are. I have the proof to show that. I have the proof to show that, and show me the numbers. So going from these bases, the atheists claiming the ownership of science is another fallacy. Okay, so when we're talking about science, like when the moon splits, you're comparing it with your current science, and I believe that I love astronomy and I follow astronomy a lot. Okay, I'm not an astronomist. I'm not a cosmologist. I'm not, but I follow science a lot, and I am a lot smarter than to be making that laugh. You probably never met somebody as smart as I am. You are a learner. You're a repeater. You are a regurgitator. And I hear you talking 17,000 words a second. That's fine. You can do that all you want. But that's not the science. That's not the thinking. The whole. I'll give you a few fallacies with your system because I need to dig into your system. I'm sorry. I don't know how much time I've used already.
You have 2 minutes and 46 seconds left.
Okay. So I'm telling you, there is a whole lot of fallacies with what's going on with your system. I'm gonna tell you, if you guys want to calculate it, you can grab your calculator and let's figure out these united hypotheses of science. Okay, these united hypotheses of astronomy. Okay, and I want you to think about them. Let's pretend that each hypothesis or each theory had a 90% chance of being true. And we're building up all these theories one on top of another with a 90% chance. By the time we build the 50th theory on top of this pile of nothing, the chance of the final result being true is 0.05%. You guys can do that in your calculator. Just do 0.95 times 0.95 and then hit equal 49 more times. and you would see what I'm talking about. So the final thing I would like to ask, when we're following these stupidities, when they're telling us that a universe from nothing, okay, and I heard that I I I, uh,
God.
I heard the gentleman next to me here saying that no, nobody said that. Yes, somebody said that. It's Lawrence Krauss. He's got a book about that, and they're holding it with much pride. And he's saying that time didn't exist, space didn't exist, matter didn't exist, and even not even the quantum fluctuations existed. So there was no laws of physics. So I'll ask you one simple question, uh, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to think about it. If nothing was sitting there, let's pretend nothing is something like they say. If nothing was sitting there, and there is no time and no space, and then nothing exploded, there must have been at least one law of physics that told nothing to explode, because nothing sitting there in one state of nothing and then exploding, it would need some law that tells it to explode. You'll agree with me. So let's just consider that law that changed the state of nothing to explode. That's God, who gave his word for nothing to make. And I don't even
30
believe in
seconds.
this nothing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, I have 30 seconds. Okay. So I don't even believe in this whole system because the whole thing is a joke. We don't even understand. I just want you to know that they've been teaching us at school three states of matter for water, for H2O. They're up to 19 now. And the 18th one, which is 4,700 degrees Celsius, and
That's
black
fine.
was predicted in the Quran. If you read that before, you'd be laughing at it.
All right, we'll go ahead and kick it over to T-Jump for his opening statement. T-Jump, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, okay. I have no idea what anything he said had to do with the topic, but that's all right. We can roll with it. So the debate today, I assume, was is the Quran scientific? And scientific means does it make novel testable predictions? So they have a methodology in order to demonstrate some kind of way to show it's not just a figment of our imagination. And Samir kind of admitted in his opening it doesn't do that. So I mean, I think he's admitted that it's not scientific. He just said it doesn't do that. It doesn't make predictions. Like, okay, it means it's by definition not scientific. He admitted that there's no scientific evidence the moon was cut in half, but he said maybe in some future imaginary land, maybe in the future we'll discover it. Well, that's also not scientific. That's literally the opposite of science. Science has a principle: follow the evidence wherever it leads. Don't make shit up beyond the evidence. That's kind of the whole point. So if you're saying, well, the current science doesn't indicate it, well, that means it's literally not scientific. It's kind of contradiction. He brought up Lawrence Krauss for some reason. Lawrence Krauss has literally admitted he didn't mean a philosophical nothing. He was changing the definition of nothing. So it's irrelevant. He just doesn't know his basic physics on that one. I don't know. That's kind of irrelevant. So I want the fallacy calculator. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I don't know how do you calculate fallacies there. He mentioned that science changes, therefore science is unreliable. That's like the dumbest argument ever. The fact that something changes doesn't mean it's not reliable. Science is the most reliable system ever. The fact that it changes is a feature, not a bug. The fact that the Quran does change. It's been changed many times by many authors, but that's irrelevant. I don't care about how often it changes. What I care about is can it indicate that it's true, and that science can do that. Science is the most reliable system. The fact that it's changed in the past to make more accurate predictions doesn't make it less accurate. It makes it more accurate. So science in the past was better than the Quran, and science in the future is way better than the Quran. And then he mentioned the asteroid version of Pascal's wager that to try to like bend some kind of burden of proof fallacy. And there's an asteroid. A bunch of crazy people believe the asteroid is coming and they're getting on a bus to move away. And they apparently don't hold the burden of proof to prove that there's actually an asteroid coming. No, it's not. That's not how it works. They have to actually demonstrate that there's actually an asteroid coming. If I just end up packing my bags and decide to move away, is everyone in my neighborhood obligated to ask me like, "Oh my God, do you have like I should believe that the asteroid is coming without evidence?" Like, no, that's dumb. Like, wow, this is not going to be a productive. But all right, yes, the Quran is definitely not scientific. There are hundreds of scientific errors in the Quran. He mentioned one, the moon being cut in half. NASA has literally said it has not happened. The setting and rising place of the sun are false in the Quran. The earth and the heavens created in 6 days, false. Earth created before the stars, obviously false. Earth's and the heavens torn apart. False. Heaven made from smoke. False. Smoke didn't exist in the plasma. There are 7 Earths. No, they're not. 7 heavens. I don't see any evidence of that. It's definitely not scientific. Some magic land. False. Similar size and distance of the moon and sun. False. Moon split in 2. False. Nature of the moon's light. The moon does not emit light. False. Meteors are stars, fire the devil. Like, no, they're not. Meteors are not stars. It's literally false. The fire the devil's part, who knows? No science there. It's unscientific claim. But you know what? We definitely know that meteors are not stars. The sky in heaven is a ceiling. False. Sky is a guarded ceiling. False. The sky is something that can fall. False. Heaven can be rolled up. False. Stars are something that can fall. False. The cause of shadows and changing of length, claimed in the Quran. False. The disregard of the North and South poles, they got that one wrong. And then that's just the astronomy section. We also got a biology section, embryology section, geology section. Flat Earth is also implicated in many of the different things. A zoology section, history section. Ooh, the massive walls of iron, those don't exist. The fact that Caesar built those, attacked those big towers, doesn't exist. Lots of sociology errors, myths and miracles errors. There are miracles in the Quran, and those didn't happen. There's no evidence of any of those. So yeah, we got tons of errors in the Quran, and but I don't know. I think we should address the basic fallacies of what science is first. So I'll leave it there.
All right. Thank you so much, TJump, for your opening statement. And we'll go ahead and kick it to the opening discussion in just a second. But before we do that, I want to let you know, folks, especially if it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, that we are open, a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. And we want you to feel welcome no matter what walk of life you're from. Sorry, 1 second. Got distracted there. We want you to feel welcome no matter what walk of life you're from. And if you have a question or comment for one of tonight's debaters, please fire it into the old live chat and be sure to tag me at Modern Day Debate. Super chats go to the top of the list. All we ask that you please keep it civil. Attack the argument and not the person, as insults will not be read. And that goes for the general discourse in the live chat as well. Please keep it civil when you're discussing things with the moderators and each other. Our guests are linked in the description below, whether you're listening on YouTube or via the podcast. So if you like what you're hearing, please be sure to check them out. Click their links below. Hit that subscribe button because we have plenty more live debates coming your way that you don't want to miss, including tomorrow night where we have Fight the Flat Earth versus Howard, and that's scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern. So again, hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss that. And with that, we will go ahead and kick it over to the live open discussion. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours at your first word.
Yeah, so he said there's some fallacies in my system or something. I'd like to know which fallacies, because it seemed like he was making a burden of proof fallacy by using Pascal's wager at the beginning. So I'm kind of lost on why he's using fallacies.
Okay, why I'm using fallacies? I'm using fallacies because the whole solar system, universe, is flawed. The whole creation of the universe is.
What does that even mean?
Okay, I'll tell you.
The equation of the universe is flawed. What does that mean?
The whole system is based on theories. It's a system of gaps. If we can't figure something, then we find a gap. If we can't figure out how the water got on Earth, we say it was a comet. If we can't figure out how what's holding the galaxies together, we say it's a suspect substance that we can't see or detect, and we're gonna call it dark matter. If the universe is expanding,
that's how hypotheses work. Why are these a problem?
If the universe is expanding like the Quran has predicted 1400 years ago, prediction, cha-ching. If the Quran, if the universe is expanding,
say
like
the prediction
Quran,
again. What was the prediction? 1400 years ago, what happened?
God in the Quran said that I have created the heavens, and surely I am expanding them.
1400 years ago. That's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know how there's trees older than that, but okay. Seems like a problem for it to be scientific. If
hold on. I don't understand. What does the trees have to do with what I said?
1400 years ago, there are trees that are 6,000 years old. So if the universe
prediction was made 1400 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Not the universe expanded.
Gotcha. Okay. Clarify that part. That's good.
Okay.
So your fallacies on your argument. You got burden of proof fallacy, Pascal's wager. Do you have any evidence?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna make a prediction right here and right now. Okay.
Okay.
The moon will split in half.
The moon will.
Yes. Well, seriously, I don't know if you're willing. please stop laughing so we can make this serious, or I'm gonna stop being serious. Okay, because I can't jump this whole interview because I can just say everything that you said. I'm gonna say the moon split in half, wrong. The women created it, wrong.
What?
Wrong. I'm gonna start jumping this thing. So if you wanna have an empirical debate and listen, then we can talk. If you don't want to listen, you can mute your microphone. Let me talk to the public.
So we're still waiting for the evidence and still trying to figure out how any of your fallacies were actually evidence.
Okay. Let me ask you this: does everything expand with heat?
Not everything. Most things do.
Okay, everything made out of matter expands with
Typically.
heat. Okay, everything contracts with cold.
Again, no. There's things that like antimatter that may not have that feature.
No, I'm just talking about regular matter.
So that's not everything. You said everything. So the normal matter, yes, normal matter expands with heat, contracts with cold.
The moon is made out of normal matter.
Sure.
Okay. The moon was thought to be geologically dead, correct?
What?
The moon was thought to be geologically dead until recently, where they found out that the moon was geologically active.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, up to recently, they used to think that the moon was just a rock, geologically dead.
It is a rock.
Okay, then they found out that the moon is actually hot in the center and it's still active.
Okay.
Okay, so that makes the moon under two different pressures. The heat is expanding the moon, and the cold of the universe is contracting the moon. And the moon has a solid crust, okay? And as the moon cools down, the force that is expanding it to hold off what's contracting it is going to die off, and eventually only one power will prevail, and the moon will crack and will split. This is my prediction. This is my own prediction. That's what's happening with the asteroid belt. That's what's happening with the Saturn belt.
Go back. What's your prediction is what? So yes, the moon is hot because it's being compressed by Earth's gravity. Yeah, and it's always been this way for millions of years. It hasn't split. I'm not sure what's the point?
Okay. How do I share my screen?
If you go down to the bottom there, you see a little monitor.
Share. Okay.
Are you trying to show something with sound?
No, just an article.
It's not a copyrighted video or anything, right? It's just an
no. I held off a lot of stuff because it was like university studies and stuff that required membership and stuff, and I didn't want to.
Yes, moon hot inside does not mean moon will split in half. In fact, those would be the opposite of one another.
I don't know if you understood the thing I said.
Well, I have no idea what you said. I don't think anybody understood the things you said. I'm not even sure if you understand the thing you said.
Okay. All right, let me get my crayons.
Okay.
All right.
Moon hot inside, moon cold outside. It's been that way for millions of years. Hasn't cracked.
The moon is hot on the inside.
Yeah.
The heat is expanding the moon, creating outward forces. I can even guide this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's how heat works.
The cold of the universe is contracting the moon. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is creating opposite forces.
Gravity.
Okay. Don't even say gravity because your priests don't even know what gravity is.
Gravity is what's causing the contraction of the moon. The temperature isn't what's causing the contraction. It's the gravity that's why.
No, it has nothing to do with gravity.
What?
I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with the gravity.
Do you think cold holds things together in large balls in space? Is it the cold that does that?
Okay, I would suggest you jump in a pool on a cold day and you figure that out.
What? How does that doesn't answer the question? The question was: is there are large bodies of objects in space? Is it coldness that's holding Jupiter and Mercury and Mars together, or is it gravity holding them together?
Okay, I'm talking about the force applied to contract the
Yes.
crust. That rock will contract.
What is the name of that force? What force is
If
doing
you
that?
put something in your refrigerator, okay, that was hot and it cools down and it shrinks, it wasn't gravity that shrunk it.
Right.
It's the temperature. It's
Right.
thermodynamics.
But which one is applying more force, gravity or temperature to the moon?
I'm ignoring gravity for now. I'm just talking about these two forces. And if I want to use gravity, it would be another point to my side, because now it just creates more force that is pushing inwards. Okay. This is simple. I mean, I see you talking using fancy words and stuff. I don't understand what. No, seriously. Like I didn't think I would have to bring out crayons to explain this to you. I mean, this is like
Well,
really
you haven't
simple.
made an argument yet. You haven't made a thing that premise,
Okay.
conclusion, moon split in
All right.
half.
All right. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. I clicked share. I don't know what. Maybe it needs your permission or something.
When you click share, did you see the pop-up that says
okay, share screen. Okay.
Okay. And then another pop-up will show up that says 1 or 2, or you probably don't have. I don't know if you have 2 screens or not, but
okay. Entire screen. Okay, I'm gonna click entire screen. I'm gonna click share.
there you go.
Okay.
Fancy wizard words.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, that's
All right. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay.
You can zoom in with the 3 dots in the right corner too, if you want to make the text bigger.
Oh, let me see how. Let me just click Control Plus to see if. Does that make it better?
Yeah, taught me something.
Okay. Okay. Scientists are left baffled after discovering an expanding crack on the moon. Okay. The moon is the second brightest in objects around the moon, moderator. I don't want to get you through the whole article.
You get to the part where there's like a part of the argument that you're making.
Okay. Anyway, here is the article. Here is the link. You guys can see it. Indiana Times trending environment crack on the moon.
Yeah, there are lots of cracks. There's not a lot more than one, so I'm not sure what the point is.
Okay. So the scientists here are saying that the moon, the crack on the moon. How do I? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. The moon cracking has been happening through our history.
What?
Okay.
The moon has always been cracking. It's a giant rock in space. Every rock in space has cracks. The Earth has cracks.
Okay. You just said that the moon is not cracking.
No, I didn't. I said it has lots of
You
cracks.
said it several times. I
No.
watched a lot of your interviews
What?
or debates or stuff. You always say there is no cracks on the moon. The moon is
What?
not cracking.
I've literally never said that. That's the dumbest thing
Okay.
I've ever heard. It's a giant rock in space. Of
Okay,
course
so
it has cracks.
let's say you never said that. Let's say you never said that. Okay, so what is your problem with the moon didn't the Quran doesn't say split, it says cracked. Okay, so what is your problem with the Quran saying that it's cracked? Then?
It didn't get cracked in half. There's no cracks in the moon that crack it in half. It's not like it's a big rock that's been split in two. There are thousands of cracks. The biggest crack on the surface.
There are
of the
not
moon
thousands
is like
of cracks.
12 miles.
That is not true. There are not thousands of cracks on the moon.
Yes, there are.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
going to let you pass that.
That's literally a fact.
That is
I
not
don't know.
thousands. There have been several cracks on the moon throughout history.
Okay, let's
a
go with
monk in the 12th
science and
century.
academic.
A monk in the 12th century had reported seeing the moon cracked in the 12th century from Earth as well with the naked eye. Okay, you can search that up and you can find it. Okay, so if you go back 6 centuries prior to that,
the moon's surface is totally cracked. Analysis of the lunar surface revealed it's far more fractured than once thought.
Oh, then once thought. When was that once thought? 1400 years ago, or
this is from an academic paper in the evidence
okay.
of the cracks in the moon.
Okay, so welcome on board, science.
No. So there's lots of cracks. Lots of
Okay,
of
so
cracks.
welcome on board, science. The Quran spoke about that 1400 years ago.
No cracks in half. So that part's false. Quran wrong. Lots of
The
cracks.
Quran never
correct.
said in half. I don't know where you got your translation.
You literally brought up. You said earlier the moon was split in half. And this is
No.
no.
No. I didn't say split in half.
You
I didn't say
did.
split in half. I said, and when the moon will split, the moon would actually will actually shatter in millions of pieces, just like the asteroid belt. This is my prediction, and I'm saying it right here live.
Every
Yes.
rock in space is going to break apart like that. That's what's going to happen to all of them.
This is not real. So I'm talking about the fallacies in
What fallacy?
in this. Okay, if let me lay this egg before you boil it. I'm talking about the fallacies in this science
What
that
fallacy?
is so willing. If you wait, you'll hear it.
Well, like fallacies have names like burden of proof fallacy, argument from authority fallacy, appeal to motive fallacy, appeal to emotion fallacy. Fallacies have names. So you can't just say fallacy. Like there's
Okay,
specific
the
things.
The fallacy, the science of the gaps fallacy.
Science.
Yes.
That's called induction. That's induction.
It is not induction. When you don't have a proof for something, you can't use it to build on it to build something else.
Yes, you can. It's called induction.
You can't use the Casimir effect to prove the quantum fluctuations.
Yes, you can. It's
when the
particles.
Okay, and you can't use Ramanujan's summation to get rid of the infinity result in the Casimir effect. So you can build the Casimir. So you can prove the Casimir effect.
The Casimir effect is an empirically demonstrated feature of reality where if you put two metal bars really, really close together, like nanometers apart in a vacuum, they get pushed together by virtual particles.
I don't care about math. They don't understand why. They had to prove it. They had to prove it.
No. Okay.
Seriously, this is like becoming like a religion for you guys. Why don't you guys ever question the science? You're so good at questioning the Quran and questioning the Bible and questioning the Torah. Why don't you ever question this?
I don't think you understand.
Did you know that they used the Ramanujan summation to prove that?
Go back. So the way science works is you make a prediction. You say, I have a hypothesis. If this hypothesis is true, here's the result we're going to see in some experiment. We do the experiment. If the experiment shows the result, that's evidence of the hypothesis. So it doesn't matter what mathematical model you use to make the hypothesis. Nobody cares. What matters is if you make a prediction and it comes true.
That wasn't the case for the Casimir effect.
That's literally the case for the Casimir effect. The Casimir effect made a prediction.
That wasn't the case.
Stop. Listen to you're just ignorant of the science. The Casimir effect made a prediction that if you put two metal sheets nanometers apart in a vacuum, the virtual particles are going to push them
100
together.
nanometers apart. Okay.
Are you not listening? So listen carefully.
I'm
listen carefully. They made a prediction. We're going to do an experiment. We're going to build a box, two metal sheets, nanometers apart, and they're going to get pushed together by virtual particles. They did the experiment. They built the box. They put the metal sheets in the box. They waited, and they got pushed together. That's called an accurate, successful prediction. That's how science works. You make predictions. That's evidence. That's what science does.
All right. Let me correct you here. Number one, the experiment was never done in a vacuum as it's supposed to be.
What?
Listen to me. Well, listen to me. You talk. Well, listen a little bit.
Effects.
It was done underwater. It was supposed. Holy holes! It was done underwater. It was supposed to be done in a vacuum where there is nothing. Not only it wasn't done in plain air, it was done underwater to prove it. And that was the only time they were able to witness it underwater. And number two, there is also another challenge. There is no way for you to take two tiny plates and make them exactly parallel. I'm talking exactly parallel for the experiment to work. Okay? Yeah, this is one
They
of the
don't need to be
requirements.
exactly parallel. That's irrelevant.
No, I read a lot about it. Okay, did they
Clearly
use?
You didn't. Like
Okay,
there's
you're
no-
familiar.
there's
Are you familiar with the renormalization? What is the renormalization?
Depends what you're talking about. What field?
Okay, in the Casimir
effect.
Okay,
Experiment.
they had to use that to get rid of the infinity factor because it just didn't make any sense.
No, the infinity factor is irrelevant. That's a mathematical representation. It literally doesn't matter. So here's a picture of the experiment. Show me where the water is. See here.
Okay, I can.
1 sec. There it is.
Are you going to show it?
Yes, on the share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Don't share screen. I don't care. This one.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen.
Showing up. So see that picture of the big dome thing? Where's the water? Can you show me where the water is? Big dome thing.
I'm seeing a little tiny thing. I have. It looks tiny. I don't know. Maybe let me try to make my screen.
Okay, the point is it's not underwater. That's false. It's a vacuum.
No, it is underwater. I can prove it.
It's not.
I can pull up the information and show you there is. Okay. Either way, are you fine with them using the Ramanujan summation to prove the Casimir effect? To get rid of the.
1 second. So the energy of the electromagnetic field in a vacuum is not zero. It continues. There's no water. No mention of water anywhere in this paper. No water.
I promise you, I researched it a lot, and the only successful experiment that was done underwater.
Literally, you showed you a picture where there's literally no
type
water.
Type in Casimir effect underwater experiment. I can't.
That's irrelevant because I just showed you one that wasn't done underwater.
That doesn't tell me anything. It's just an image on Google.
That was an image of the machine that did the Casimir effect. That was literally so you're just ignorant of the thing. Right? Go to the wiki.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question or comment for one of tonight's debaters, please remember to fire into the old live chat and tag me at Modern Day Debate. And super chats will go to the top of the list. So if you have a question or comment and you want it to be read and you want it to be guaranteed to be read, then make sure you send a super chat.
But I'm still waiting for any evidence of any kind that the Quran is scientific. Because lots of errors can demonstrate lots of errors. No evidence is true. Still missing the how it's scientific part.
No, you cannot. Let me finish up with this point before I jump to something else. Are you fine with them using the Ramanujan?
I don't care what math they use. Math is irrelevant. It's a hypothesis building.
No, unless math is stupid.
What? Math is stupid.
Yes, it is stupid.
Math is stupid.
It is stupid. I'm going to tell you, this math that was used is stupid.
It doesn't matter what math they use. What matters is does it make testable predictions? Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. If it can tell us about the future,
no.
it doesn't matter.
This is fifth grade math that was done in a stupid way.
Ramanujan equations are fifth grade math. Genius.
I didn't say equations. I said summation. You know what? Okay, you obviously don't know what it is. Of course you're laughing because you don't know what it is. Okay, the Ramanujan summation is an infinite series that's supposed to claim that 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5 + 6 all the way to infinity equals -112. Okay?
Yes, I'm familiar with the infinite.
Okay, and
so
your priest Lawrence Krauss keeps always boosting and
yes, because it can be mathematically proven. Like that's been demonstrated.
It is not. It's a fallacy. Real mathematicians said that's stupid.
Which fallacy?
It's wrong. It is wrong. It's totally wrong because you know what they used to prove it. You know what they used to prove it? They use 1 + 1 - 1 + 1 - 1 equals a half.
Yeah, that's in if you just basic math. The way it works is you.
No, that's when you give up. No sane mathematician.
The fact that you're ignorant of basic math is not the topic of the debate. We understand you're ignorant of basic math. I could just pull up a video explaining this for you on YouTube. It's pretty simple math. It's not even that hard.
Listen, before you insult me and say I'm ignorant of simple math, I don't even want to go there. Okay.
Clearly you are.
Because,
if you don't know
because what I discovered, what this person has discovered in math, your whole entire science community has not discovered it. So don't tell me.
So are we going to talk about anything in the Quran that is scientific, or are we?
Yes. Yes. So I'm laying the ground to show you that when you're comparing the Quran, when you keep saying wrong, I'm showing you that you are going from this base where the science is supposed to be this thing that is. I'm not saying that the science is a bad thing. We all love science. I love astronomy. That's why I follow astronomy. I love geology. I love a bunch of different sciences, and I follow that. That is not the problem. We all love the empirical and finding the truth. Yes, we all seek to find the truth. But at any moment where you claim that you have achieved the truth with a bunch of theories, then you know that you just have become arrogant. And this is not.
Oh, the
new.
irony. Oh,
this is not new to mankind. Has been the case throughout history.
All you have is a book of imaginary fictional theories with no confirmation whatsoever. Science has theories that have been confirmed with testable predictions. So if you think that just having a bunch of theories makes your model bad, guess what? Your Quran is like the dumbest thing ever.
You will surely find out.
Novel testable prediction: after you die, you will meet God. That's a good testable prediction that may come to be true in the future. That's great.
That's between you and I'm not. Okay.
That's a novel testable prediction. That's a good thing in science. That's like one of the most scientific predictions the Quran makes. You're going to burn in hell. It's a good testable hypothesis.
Okay. God said, "I swear by the day of resurrection, and I swear by the reproaching soul. Does man think that we will not be able to assemble his bones after death?"
I have no idea what that even means. So what?
That's fine. Yes, we are able even to reassemble his fingertips. Okay.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about fingerprints that were discovered in the 19th century. That they started using them, and what they realized that there is 1 in 64 billion chance that you can find two humans with the same fingerprint.
Yeah, where does it say that? Where does it say fingerprint in the Quran?
Okay, you want to look it up?
Sure.
Fingertips. I'm sorry, I did say fingerprints. I apologize if I did. Fingertips. Okay. So if God is telling you that if you are surprised that we can reconstitute a human from his bones after he's dead,
what?
God gives you a challenge which is even higher, and he's telling you that he will be able to reconstitute his fingertips. And we're not talking about one bone, we're talking about the fingerprints. If we're talking about fingertips.
No, he's talking about fingertips. He's saying he can remake them, reform them from nothingness. This has.
And how is that harder than making a whole human being?
That's
how is that a more challenging?
This is not a prediction. This is saying God is super powerful dude, can materialize stuff out of nothing. That's great. This is not a prediction.
Yeah, it is a prediction. It is a prediction that each human's fingerprints are different.
It's not. It's literally not what that says. Yes, it is. What that says is that God is powerful enough to reform your body from nothing. That's what it has nothing to do with fingerprints.
No, that was the verse before.
Nothing you're saying is making sense. You are speaking gibberish.
What I'm going to tell you is that if you close your mind and everything and always just try to find a way out,
your words are the problem. It's not my mind.
These are supposed to be signs for you. They're not supposed to be.
What is the sign?
The sign is that God is telling you that if humans think that we're not going to be able to reassemble his bones, I'm even able to reassemble his fingertips.
That's great. So, what does that have to do with anything? God
what
being
has
magical
to do with
power.
Anything. It wasn't until the 19th century that people discovered. So it was a prediction. If it was done before, it is clearly a prediction.
What does
that fingertips are special, and they're special to every human.
What does the word reconstitute mean? What does the word reconstitute mean?
Recreate them as they were before he died.
Yes. Does that have anything to do with fingertips? Does that or anything to do with fingerprints? Are fingerprints mentioned in anything related to that? The ability to recreate it after it's been destroyed says nothing about fingerprints. Literally nothing.
It says about fingertips,
which mentions nothing about fingerprints. It says, I will be able to reconstitute even the tips of your fingers. It doesn't mention that there's anything special about the tips of your fingers. It just says that it's going to be able to remake everything about you. That's all it says. There's nothing about fingerprints.
No, no. You wouldn't think that if it was in any other context.
What?
Context.
That's what I was thinking. Literally every book, because that's been said like many times in many religions that they can remake you from nothing. They can reanimate your corpse. That doesn't mean that because it mentions a specific point. Stop. The fact that it mentions a specific point on your body doesn't mean that it's referencing any special thing that you happen to discover 1,000 years about that point on your body. No, it just means that that point in your body is a very specific point that is referencing it, but instead of a general point. So, oh look, it can get everything from your head to your toes. God mentions that all the time. Does God know that there's fingerprints on your toes too? No one cares. It's not irrelevant. So you have to like literally say, does it say fingerprints anywhere? The fact that it says tips of fingers does not mean fingerprints. Those are literally two separate things.
That is not true. And then it says banana.
It's literally true.
In Arabic, when we say banana, we talk about the fingertips, and we specifically talk about this part of the fingertips. When you hold something with
those are the tips of your fingers. That does not mean fingerprints.
This part, the inner part of your finger, which is where the fingerprints are, and God is making the challenge that is something harder, supposedly. Then nothing is hard for him, but it's something harder than assembling the bones.
Dumbest argument ever. So it doesn't say fingerprints.
What isn't to you? What isn't to you? I mean, so far I haven't seen any argument that hasn't been the dumbest. So
yeah, your arguments are pretty bad. So I'll give you an example of a really good argument. Hinduism predicts the age of the earth is 4.3 billion years ago. The book was written 6,000 years ago. That's within 5% accuracy. That's a very accurate prediction. That's good. That's a good argument. Yours is terrible.
No, that's not. So how come you didn't believe then?
Because one lucky guess isn't proof of God.
All right. So tell me, one lucky guess. One lucky guess, 4.3 billion. That makes it one chance out of 4.3 billion chances, and you still didn't believe. So
yes, that's one guess. So it had to make a lot of those. It made a lot of those. If it said DNA was made by a double helix, the universe is 14 or 13.8 billion years ago. The human race began 200,000 years ago. If it said a lot of these things, that would be great evidence. But the fact it got one fact right out of a billion facts it could get right isn't evidence that the entire model is true. It's one thing. You need a lot of those. You need a lot of those to prove it's true.
God says, for every prophecy there is a term, and you will come to know. And we have seen many.
And the spaghetti monster says blah 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 blue blue blue. It's not evidence.
I hate to compare God with whatever.
The flying spaghetti monster. You hate to compare one imaginary being to a different imaginary being. That's a surprise.
It is imaginary to you because you close your eyes and you close your heart and you close your mind and you're willing to accept everything else. You're willing to accept everything else, every stupid theory that is being told to you. Why didn't you challenge the dark matter? Why didn't you challenge the dark energy?
Dark matter isn't a hypothesis. Dark matter is there is something out there causing more gravitational connection.
That is not. It's just light refraction. All that crap.
Light refraction.
Yeah, it is just light refraction of galaxies because galaxies are made out of matter.
What reflects
and they act
light?
like lenses.
Wait.
I know suddenly we have this thing, gravitational lenses.
What reflects light? How do things reflect light in galaxies? What is it that reflects the light? What causes the bending of the light?
Light spreads. You can witness that with your phone. If you put your phone again, if you flash a flashlight, you will notice that the light spreads.
In
light
space
spreads, and when the light gets blocked in the matter within a whole cluster of galaxies, only what comes out the sides will be visible, and you would see it in the form of an arc.
Okay, does light bend in space?
Okay, so now you want to talk to me about space-time, right?
Yes, curvatures of space. So we know light bends at a specific rate based on the amount of matter, gravity that is.
How do you know that?
The light? Because we've observed it. Einstein made a testable prediction about the curvature of light based on general relativity around the sun, which is
and that was the gravitational lensing. That
yes, that's gravitational lensing.
I just gave you an explanation for that gravitational lensing.
No, you didn't. He made a testable prediction of the exact amount it would bend and got it right. You did not. You just said. You like to see stuff can bend when you shine a flashlight at stuff. That's not a prediction.
Okay,
Science.
I'm really
Einstein made an exact prediction of the amount it would bend around the sun and observed it, and it was correct. That's a prediction.
okay. Is time one directional?
Is time one directional?
Yes.
What? You mean like t equals 1? Yes.
Does time go backwards? Can we go
It
back to
can.
the beginning of this interview?
Sure. There is no logical contradiction with time going backwards.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. I don't think you know what a logical contradiction means. Yes, I agree, Kaz. That is exactly how I feel about this debate.
I'm having the time of my life.
I'm feeling like this. It's like really strange. It's almost like you were brainwashed to accept anything that they tell you.
Do you know what logical contradiction means?
You know, to me, what I don't have a problem with the science when it brings me empirical proof, something that is not built on a hypothesis.
You mean like the
something that's
Casimir
not-
effect, which is an empirical proof? Oh, you mean
Yes.
like gravitational lensing, which is an empirical proof?
Okay.
The curvature of
Hold on.
space-time, which is an empirical proof in the
Hold
LIGO
on, let me-
experiment.
let-
Those are all
let- I'm-
empirically
okay.
proven.
I'm gonna move to infinity and come back. Hold on here.
That would
There
be
you go.
good. That would
It's-
save us
it's-
some time. Move to infinity and back and beyond.
Okay, I
Do
just
some
moved.
Buzz
It was
Lightyear
one.
shit.
It was one negative 1/12 of a foot.
What's
You're fine with that.
what?
That's what the math that you love so much.
What? Yes, the infinities can add up to a negative 1/12 as a representation using a different mathematical analysis. Yes, that's fine.
No, that is wrong. We cannot use that. We cannot use that to prove your model. It's one thing after another. We cannot use that to prove that. You have a
Use
problem.
what to prove
You have a
what?
problem defining what light is. Is it a particle or is it a wave? And instead,
both.
so you
What
just
is that-
decide to say both. Exactly. So you can't figure out what light is. So you just say it's both. What if it's neither?
Well, you'd have to have evidence for that. We have evidence that it's both a light or both a particle and a wave. You have no evidence that it's magical Sky Daddy stuff. So ours
It is
ours
not. They used to think it's a particle, and then
Yes.
after the double slit experiment, they start to figure out it acts like a wave. But they couldn't deny either of them, and they
that's
just
called
decide that
evidence
it's.
and progress. You have
They
known.
just decide, you know what?
Magic
Let's
Sky
just call
Daddy.
it both.
You have Magic Sky Daddy wrote book, which you imagine. Science has lots of novel testable predictions and mathematical analysis, which can be proven. I don't. The one is better. One of these is not like the other. Science better.
No, it is not.
It's not.
It's, I'm using the TJump analysis or whatever reply or however you call it.
If you have a question or comment for one of tonight's debaters, be sure to fire into the old live chat. Tag me at Modern Day Debate, and super chats will go to the top of the list. 15 minutes left in the discussion, gentlemen.
Oh, goody.
If we have any facts
Okay.
in the
I
Quran
would
that
like,
we can establish scientifically.
yes, I would like also to establish some points before we get to. I don't know why you always keep claiming that the secular or atheist or whatever is responsible for the advancement we have reached today.
What? Say that again.
Why you keep claiming that the
I'm gonna
advancement
give
we've
you
made in
a-
science today is thanks to the atheist?
I'm going to
A lot of scientists over the past 100 years have been atheists, so a lot of it has contributed to atheism.
Okay, so you keep comparing the United States with other countries, and
What?
you keep claiming.
What?
I
Jews are mostly secular. Jews are mostly atheists. The amount of Nobel Prizes that were won by Jews is like a quarter. The amount of Nobel Prizes won by atheists is 10 times as much of Muslims, which is like 2. They've won like 2. So yes, atheism has contributed a significant portion of scientific progress over the past several hundred years, which is the most scientific progress we've ever had in humanity. I don't know what your point is. Yes, atheists have done lots of good work in science.
okay. United States is not an atheist country. The atheists
What does that,
are not a
have to do
majority.
with atheist
What does that have to
scientists?
do? What does that have to do? It's like I don't like to hear that it's.
Did you know that
it's-
atheists can live in a Christian nation and do science and then win a Nobel Prize and still
And
be
did
an
you know
atheist?
that? And did you know that? Did you know that theist people can do the same thing, exact thing?
Yes, I literally just mentioned Muslims have like 2 Nobel Prizes, like 2%. Good job. Congratulations. You have some Nobel Prizes. Good job.
Okay, and something else I would like to clear up. You said that when someone had told you that the suicide rate in the atheist community is like higher than every other theist group, you claimed that
It's not.
because they live longer. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Uh,
So like there are the suicide rate in many impoverished countries, the religious groups in those impoverished countries is much higher. So you can just Google countries with highest suicide rates.
I'll pull it up right now.
And while he's doing that, ladies and gentlemen, just want to let you know if you have a question or comment for Wednesday Night's Debaters, fire into the old live chat once again. And be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, because we have many more juicy debates coming your way, including tomorrow night. Fight Flat Earth.
So
in
Lesotho, Guyana, that's Africa. Eswatini, Kiribati. Like, do these sound like secular nations to you? Russia is in top 10. South Africa, top 10. Those are not secular nations. Federated State of Micronesia. Like, these don't sound like atheist nations. Atheist nations are like Norway.
Russia is
Denmark,
not a
Sweden.
secular. Russia is one of the leading atheist countries in the
Russia is over 50% Christian.
world. Russia is one of the leading atheist countries in the world.
Russia has a large population, most of which is Christian.
Okay.
What is the main religion in Russia? Russian Orthodoxy.
What is the main religion?
Yeah. As opposed to like atheism, agnosticism. Non-religious. Non-religious is 30%. Russian Orthodoxy is 53%. Muslim is 8%. Atheist is 5%. So yes, the leading religion in Russia is Russian Orthodoxy. Christian. I love it when Muslims don't believe you on facts and they have to Google it. Like,
No. I researched this, so I know what I'm talking about.
Well, obviously not, because I just gave you the stats. Would you like me to send you the reference? Because I'm looking at Britannica.com, Religion of Russia, the page Russia/religion. And it gives, this is a 2005 analysis of the religious affiliation of Russia, 53% Russian Orthodoxy,
Okay.
8% Muslim.
If I can share my screen, please.
Yep. Just go ahead and hit the button, and I'll share it.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, most atheist. Okay. Can you see it?
Nope.
Nope.
Is it small or?
It doesn't, nothing. We see your face. We see just your camera.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's try now.
There you go.
Okay.
It's a good thing to be sorry for. I like the internet. So what? Wait, go back up. What are we looking at?
Okay.
Most atheist countries. So that's countries that have the highest population of atheists, correct?
Yes.
What percentage of the population of that country is atheist?
Okay. So is Russia one?
Yeah,
one
Russia
of the
has
countries
one
with
of the largest populations, so it has the most of most religions. That doesn't mean
Okay.
it's not mostly Christian.
Okay. So let's look down here the list too, because I need to clarify this too. Let's find the United States. You see what the United States is? You see the long list before the United States? You see all the scientific advancements in the United States? The United
60%, 63% of the population of Russia identified as Orthodox Christian, 7% of Muslims. This is a more recent study, 2020, a 2020 report. International religious freedom in Russia, 63% are Russian Orthodox. So the fact that it has lots of atheists doesn't mean that it's not majority Christian.
What is the population of Russia?
The government estimated total population at 142.3 million. Mid-year 2020 estimate. Poll conducted in September of the independent Levada Center found that 63% of the population identified as Orthodox Christian and 7% as Muslim.
And how is that when we can have
26% reported as having no religious faith.
How can up to 69 million people be 26%?
Because it says that's a range. It says 34 to 69, and that's a 2004 data. I'm using 2020 data. My other one was
Oh, so the number must
2005.
be higher. Thank you.
No, because if you add up all of those numbers, it goes higher than the total. So no.
Okay. So let's hit two birds with one stone and just tell you that the United States is actually
states.gov 2020 report on international religious freedom, Russia. 63% of the population identified as Orthodox Christian. That's 26 having no faith. There's a big difference between those two numbers. In fact, it's like 3 times more Christians than non-religious.
Okay. And since you found those numbers, look at the United States, what it says.
What does that have to do with any of the topic?
Okay, I want you to just
you really need to get ad block.
I want you to stop claiming because the atheists in the United States are not responsible single-handedly for the advancement of the science.
It's literally not. I never said that it was, obviously.
No, you always claim that the atheists are what's moving the science wheel forward,
yes.
and the believers or the theists are stalling it, and that is not true.
What?
When
I never said
we
that.
look at the case of the United States, which is the number one power in the world.
Wait, I never said that. So yeah, obviously there are Christians make up like 60% of Nobel Prizes, Muslims make up 2%, Jews make up 25%. What are you even saying? You're saying gibberish. I never said that religious people can do no good in science. It's not an argument. I mean, religious people in America are definitely holding back science because of things like denial of global warming and denial of evolution. So religious people, not religious scientists, religious average people are holding back science. Yes.
No, I don't believe that they all hold the same position in regards to the topics that you said. Because I am religious and I'm not against global warming, and I'm not against.
So it doesn't saying that religious people are holding back science does not mean literally every single religious person. It means a large enough percentage of the religious community rejects science in order to make it not taught in schools, not adopted by political policy. Therefore, they are holding back science because they don't want science to be adopted or pursued or funded because it goes against their ideology. It literally does not mean all literal religious people deny science. Not the point of the argument. Basic English would be helpful here.
Okay.
I did want to show something because since we got 5 minutes left. Sorry, that was good. Share screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go here with that one.
Yes, 5 minutes left. So get your super chats in now while there's still time. There's plenty of time.
Put it on the other screen. Go ahead.
Is this good?
I'm going to give you an astounding result.
Astounding.
An astounding result.
So I'm just going to write down a little sum, and we're just going to see what answer it gives.
1 plus 2 plus 3
Let's do
plus
some
4
math. Some
plus
math.
And I include all the natural numbers, so all the way up to infinity. So what do you reckon the answer to this is, Brady?
Well, I would say it would tend towards infinity.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
The answer to this sum is, remarkably, minus a 12th. It's amazing. I mean, I first saw this result when I started learning a bit of string theory.
And what's even more bizarre is that this result
Zoom?
is used in many areas of physics.
This is a very well-known string theory textbook by Joe Polchinski. As you can see, sort of quite early on, page 22, we have this statement here, which is that the sum of all, this is basically saying the sum of all. We're going to prove now, without getting our knickers in a twist with Riemann zeta functions, we're going to prove in quite a simple way why the sum of all the natural numbers is indeed minus a 12. So to do that, we're going to do this in a number of steps. We're going to look at a few different sums. The first sum...
So just to clarify, I said we're going to prove this without using the Riemann zeta function. So you don't need the Riemann zeta.
that I want to look at, I'm going to call it S1, and it's 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, and so on. That's the first sum I'm going to look at in principle. The second sum I'm going to look at is 1, minus 2, plus 3, minus 4, and so on. Just carry on in that process all the way up. And the third one is, of course, going to be our one that we're really interested in, which is 1 plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and so on. So we're going to evaluate all these three different sums. Now, the first one is really easy to evaluate. We need to attach a number. Now, clearly, what is the answer to this? Now, you stop this at any point. Okay, if you stop it at an odd point, you're going to get the answer 1. If you stop it at an even point, you'll get the answer 0. Clearly, that's obvious, right? So what number are we going to attach to this infinite sum? Do we stop at an odd or an even point? We don't know. So we take the average of the two. So the answer is a half. There are other ways to prove that this sum is a half, by the way, which we can do if you want. But
No, there'll be a link. There'll be a link there because we've done it before.
Okay, good.
So you can see the link there.
okay, so this is a half, but I think intuitively that's the easiest way to say it, that you either get 0 or 1, and therefore you just take the average. So this is the natural number to attach to this sum. But once we know this, we're laughing, okay? Because from this, we can achieve everything that we want to achieve. The next step is to find out what this sum is. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take 2 copies of this S2, okay? So I'm going to add it to itself. So 2 times S2 is equal to, well, let me just write it out. So I'm going to write it out twice. 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4, so on. And then I'm going to add to it itself, but I'm going to shift it along a little bit. So that's plus 1, minus 2, plus
I'm
3,
gonna shift it a little
minus
bit.
4, and so on.
Yeah, so in math, that's
I've
a
taken 2 copies and
transition.
added them
You can
together.
do
But
that.
I've done
Plus
it in a
infinity at the end.
nice way, and I just push this one along slightly on the bottom. Now you see what you get. You take this one and
fine.
this and this, and I get 1. So 1 plus nothing is 1. Minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. Minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1, and so on. And I'm going to keep getting this pattern. So hang on a minute, I've just got back the sum that I started with, which I know the answer to. So half. Okay? So therefore I know this sum now. So I just divide 3 by this 2 and I get a quarter. So now I know that this sum, this second sum with somewhere the signs alternate, is actually equal to a quarter. So this is my second remarkable result. Now I have everything I need to prove this crazy minus a 12 thing, right?
So this
just
part
divide-
here, when he says he adds a second one to it, that's the 2s. So he's allowed to add another one. And move it
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
That's totally fine.
because the first one equals a half. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
So like when he added the second line below the first line, that's the 2.
I totally understand
2.
this. I love this channel
Good,
until they
good.
posted this
3
video.
by this 2 and I get a quarter. So now I know that
the
this
last
sum,
time
the
they
second sum
found
with
it.
somewhere the signs alternate, is actually equal to a quarter. So this is my second remarkable result. Now I have everything I need to prove this crazy minus a 12 thing, right? Okay, so let's do it. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to subtract this one. Okay, so I'm going to subtract S2 from S. Well, let's write them out again. Okay, so I'm going to write out S first, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 and so on. Okay, and I'm going to subtract S2. So that's minus. Okay, let me just put a bracket in now because I'm going to minus all of this. 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 and so on. Okay, okay, 1 minus 1. What's that?
0.
0, yeah, exactly. So I get nothing from that bit. 2 minus minus 2 is 4. Okay, 3 minus 3, 0. 4 minus minus 4 is 8. And so on. And the next one, I'm going to get from the 5s, I get nothing. From the 6s, I get 12, and so on. And it proceeds in that way. And now you can see we're almost there now, right? Because look what I've got here. I've got 4 plus 8 plus 12. If I take a factor of 4 out, it's 4 times 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay? It's my sum that I wanted. So now I've got a formula for my, so this is just 4 times S, which is my sum. So now I just solve this equation, right? Because I know what S2 is. So I have now the expression S minus, because I know what S2 is a quarter, is equal to 4S. Okay, I take S from either side, so I get minus a quarter is equal to 3S, which implies that S equals minus a 12. Did you believe me? That's amazing, I love it. It's amazing.
Basic math. It's very easy.
Basic man, that is amazing. If you don't mind, let me share my screen.
We have 40 seconds left in the open discussion.
Okay, I might just share the title. Let's see what. Okay, share screen. Okay, can you guys see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna play the video. It's a long video, and this is real mathematicians making a joke out of that video. So that's enough said. 1 plus 1, 1 minus 1 equals
In
0.
the very
Plus
beginning
1
of that
equals
video,
1.
In the very beginning of that video, they actually say that it's correct. They make fun of the methodology, but they say the answer is correct at the very beginning of that video.
Yes, because they have another way to prove it, which is more stupid than this one. So may as well show up. May as well show the less stupid. So let me talk to the audience here, please.
Well,
1 minus 1 equals 0, plus 1 equals 1. You do that for infinity, and you get a series of zeros and ones. But because we don't know when we're going to stop, we're just going to decide it equals a half, and then we're going to use that in another equation, and then we're going to move one term. We're going to add 2 of something, which are supposed to line up like fingers, and then we're going to say that we're going to move one term to the right. So if we do that, then you're going to have the same summation plus one number at the end of the infinity, which is the largest number in the universe that is going to be ignored. So it's going to be negative 112 plus the largest number in the universe. But they don't tell you that because they can freely move it to the left. Real mathematicians find this stuff to be jokes, but physicians, when they get stuck, they're really so happy to use this stuff to solve their problems. Okay.
all right. let's go ahead and move into the Q&A, shall we? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question for one of tonight's debaters, please fire into the old live chat, tag me at Modern Day Debate, and Super Chats will go to the top of the list. And with that, we will go ahead and kick it into the question and answer sections. So, I'll put 35 minutes on the timer. And the first question comes in from Ozian Talks for $5. Thank you, Ozian. They say, I have been an atheist since I was 5 years old, which was 45 years ago. You are wrong, Samir. Most of the people I know are closer to my age, my peers.
Yeah, there is a percentage of atheists which is lower than the. Okay, the highest bracket of atheists is between 15 and 29 years old, and the second highest is between 30 and 49 years old, and it gets lower after that. Okay, so atheism is a new wave. It's a new thing that is being pushed by the atheism priests. So it's normal.
The atheism priests. Can I meet some of these people?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you do because you memorize every single word they said.
That's
Hopefully,
pretty
the
impressive.
atheism priests will be sending us some more super chats because we do have plenty of room on the list. From Anton Gomez for $25 or 25 MX. I'm not sure what that is actually. For TJump, what is the Quran? What in the Quran is positive in your opinion?
What?
What in the Quran is positive in your opinion?
Positive?
Yeah, is there anything positive in the Quran?
Probably. Sure. I'm sure there's some occasional moral principles that are nice. In between the beheadings and the mass murders and rapes and things, there's occasionally some statements that say
There is
don't
no
do that.
beheadings, there is no mass murders, and there is no rapes in the Quran.
Okay then. Must be reading a different book. Be interesting.
But by the way, you keep speaking about the. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're in the Q&A. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Next question from Flamio for $5. They say the argument from anthropology that would prove the Quran is the scientific explanation for what ancient merchants believe never comes.
What? I don't even understand the question.
I'll read it again. The argument from anthropology that would prove the Quran is the scientific explanation for what ancient merchants believe never comes.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's saying.
I apologize to the person, especially that they put a $25 chat. I hope you tag the host and rephrase your question, and we'll be glad to answer it.
Yeah, I'll read it in the next one, and I'll try to see if I can figure out what's going on. From 160 for $4.99, they say, I got fingertips on my toes.
It's true.
Toes are also called fingers in Arabic.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. From
And that's what makes the probability goes from 64 billion to septillions.
I'm sorry. Okay, never mind. From
The probability of finding a total match for two people on the planet with 20 digits that are exactly the same, using every single criteria that is used by, especially by the police and the FBI and stuff to track fingerprints. You will be in one in a septillions.
Well, there's a reason we don't use toe prints. It's because they're pretty worn down, so they look very similar between all people.
That is not true because fingerprints and toe prints will always regenerate, and you can look at your foot. You don't have to go that
That's
far.
not how
to figure
scabs
it out.
work. That's not how scabbing works.
That is not true because back in the 80s it was these gang members in Chicago that decided they're gonna wipe off their fingerprints, so they don't risk for any of them to get caught, and they were just surprised to find out that their fingerprints regrew just the way they were.
So yeah, I think you need to learn how scabbing and scarring works on feet if you do like lots of active activity.
I don't have to. I can just look at my foot in the mirror.
Science. Look at your foot in the mirror. Science.
Yeah, I did track and field, and I played soccer, so my feet took pretty good beating, and the prints on my toes are still exactly the same.
Okay. From Jerry, Jeffrey for €2 or pounds. Another Trump W.
I think he means TJump.
He said Trump. Okay. That is all the super chats that I have on the list right now. So if you send a super chat right now, they will go straight to the top list and they will be the next thing read. So with that, from Gigi Bianco, they say, does the Quran also contain the book of Genesis?
The Quran actually does not contain the book of Genesis, but the Quran comes to tells you that the Bible and the Torah and all the messages that was relayed before the Quran were from God. And the Quran invites other religion to come in and unify under one word of God. So the Quran accepts the religion that came before it. So as a Muslim, I am glad it is TJump and not a Christian, because I would not be wanting to be bashing somebody else's religion. So we are asked to respect every other religion and every other prophet, love and cherish every other prophet that was sent by God before us, which Jesus was one of them, Moses was one of them, Abraham was one of them. I wish I could find this picture, and I would show you. Unfortunately, I don't know why I can't pull up the
I have a super chat from Shadow Ramsey. He says that was too good. Appreciate it. Anybody else got any super chats on my side? You want to send them in? Feel free.
I got a super chat from Bitter Truth for $5. They say, "What the heavens and the earth, that the heavens and the earth were closed, then we opened them, and we created from water every living thing. Would they still not believe?" Oh wait, I'm sorry. Something is there's a edit going on to the super chat as I speak. So
Yes, basically, if the edit doesn't change the what I understood is that
here.
God said that the heavens and the earth was one one mass at one point, and God has separated them.
Error.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Error in the edit.
The error is in the super chat. That's one of the words. I thought that was a
Okay, maybe he can
communication.
tag you and you can see his question.
No.
So-
Let me just reread it again. I'm sorry. That
Yeah,
the
sure.
heavens and the earth were closed, then we opened them, and we created from water every living thing. Would they still not believe?
Yes, God is giving you signs, not science. God is telling you the signs you're supposed to prove them with your science. You can use some science as a ground for prediction. Okay, and uh, you would love to read what Noah said to his people when he was building the ark. And
I would, because he didn't exist. So yes, that would be impressive.
yeah, Moses existed.
Nope.
Jesus,
Yep.
Abraham.
Nope. So like there's a consensus in history that the matriarchs and patriarchs of the Bible didn't exist. So Abraham, I think it was Isaac. I don't remember. I think Daniel or David was the first historically accurate character in the Bible. Everything before that else was just made up. So no
Okay.
Noah, no Moses was made up.
Joseph.
Which one? Yes, the one who's the dad of Jesus. Yes.
No, not that Joseph. Joseph, the one that was in Egypt.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think all of those characters are pretty made up.
Okay, so
All right, we got another super chat from Bitter Truth for $5. They say, "There's no Earth from after 9 billion year."
What?
There's no Earth from after 9 billion year.
Like 9 billion years ago, there was no Earth, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's talking in the past or in the future, but let me ask you some of the problems that I find with like when you know what you want to want to get to, and then we get the same observations, and we can look at them and we can wonder, it could be this, could be that, could be this. Let me ask you, when you look at the extra deep field images, you're looking
CMB.
Yeah, you're looking 13 billion years in the past, correct?
You're looking at particles that were emitted 13.8 billion years ago.
Okay. No, I'm talking about what you see in the image. Those galaxies are, because they say it's a few hundred million
particles. Well, there are no galaxies in the CMB. The CMB measures temperature gradients.
No. I'm talking about the Hubble extra deep field.
Okay. Yeah. So those are, you're seeing light particles that were emitted by those galaxies billions of years ago.
Okay, and they say it was just a few hundred million years after the universe, after the Big Bang.
I don't know the time period of when galaxies started to form.
Well, they say the universe is 13.77 billion years old.
Yeah, the universe is 13.8 billion.
Okay, that's 77. That's a round up to 0.8. Okay, so, and we know the universe is expanding, and we know that the galaxies that are ahead of us in the expansion, once supposedly the space-time is expanding faster than the speed of light, those galaxies, we can no longer see them.
Yep.
But we can only see up to the ones we can actually still see.
Yes,
correct?
We can only see the ones that we can see.
Okay, so how do we know that we're looking at the past of the future, but not the past? How do we know we're not looking at the galaxies that were actually that are about to escape our field of view instead of being looking at the past? How do we know we're looking at the past?
I have no idea what you're asking there. Particles travel at a specific speed, the speed of light, and so if for it to be looking at the future, they'd have to be traveling faster than the speed of light.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying you're looking at the past of the future. I'm saying you're looking at the galaxies that are actually ahead of us, that are not galaxies that were behind us from a few hundred million light years from the Big Bang. I'm talking about galaxies that we're no longer going to see.
I have no idea what you're asking right now. So like all of the galaxies formed. The Big Bang happened everywhere at once. So all of the galaxies are equal distance, are equally moving away from each other. Like any direction we look, they're all moving away at the same speed. They're all the same. Like the farther away they are, the faster away they go. It's not like there's a line. It's like they all, anywhere we look, they're all going in the same speed.
Yeah, they're all going in the same speed. Okay.
All right. Let's go with the question or comment from Sunflower, who's been a member for 12 months. They say, if TJump had a job and a wife, he'd ditch atheism. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Most atheists have jobs and wives.
Well,
if I was a Muslim, I'd have a harem.
Oh, okay.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't.
You couldn't. Because I gotta clarify this part for you. So you would understand. Okay? Because a lot of people tend to get confused about that. Okay.
How many wives did Muhammad have?
I'm going to clarify for you the previous point.
How many? Was it like 9?
I'm going to clarify. Islam is actually the religion that came to put a limit on polygamy. Before that, it was no limit on polygamy. Before
how many wives did Muhammad have?
Before Islam, it was no limit on polygamy.
Okay. How many wives did Muhammad have?
Before Islam, it was no limit.
Why are you evading the question?
I'm jumping it.
Jumping.
Okay. So
Nice.
they should just say wrong. So no, because I want to stick to the
11.
point I'm talking
He had
about.
11 wives. That's the answer. I was wrong. It wasn't 9. It was 11. One of them was like 6 years old.
No, you were wrong. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna try to cut because we're in Q&A. So Islam, God in the Quran asks us to follow his commands, his prophet's commands, and the people who are in charge of us. Okay? So if I live in the United States, I have to follow the laws of the United States. So if the United States law says one wife, I got to marry one wife. If I move to Utah and Utah allows me to marry more than one wife, and I did in fact wanted to marry more than one wife, then the Utah law would allow me. And then we were talking about the age of the spouse, so I'm gonna go back a little bit. I want you to look up what is the age of consent by country, and I recommend for everyone here to do it. Look up the age of consent by country, and you will be surprised. And then look up the age of consent in the U.S. I want you to know that it used to be 10 years old up to fairly recently in some states, and until now it still varies, I believe, between 14 and 18 years old. So what do you think is right in the jurisdiction that you were brought up in? If you think it's 18, other states think it's 15, other state thinks it's 14. So and we're talking about the year 2020. What about if you go back 2,000 years?
They were
Okay.
wrong back then. They were just
They
immoral.
still think it's wrong when you have a 13-year-old that gets pregnant from a boyfriend, not a husband.
So
Okay,
yes,
let's-
there were bad people in the past that did immoral things that we now know are immoral, like Muhammad. Also, I have a criticism from Chili Wilson. He super chatted that he thinks it's disingenuous to put the MD logo over the speakers. He's complaining that the modern day debate logo is infringing upon my chair.
I'm so
The
sorry.
modern day debate logo is actually just said "for God" upside down.
I forgot. It's over both of you. There you go.
Oh, you mean
It's all
in like Islamic? I don't
Yeah,
think-
in Arabic, I can show it to you. It's actually just said "for God." It could be a sign.
Well, James is
Okay.
Christian, so
All right. From Bitter Truth for $5, they say men formed by blood clot. Suar alak. This is scientific error.
rib is so much.
No, that
better.
is not. The question is wrong.
The question is wrong.
Yes.
Get a better question, Bitter Truth. From
No,
Elusive Viper.
I know what he wants to say, but that's not what the Quran says. That's not
Quran
what the
does
Quran
not say
says.
that.
The Quran says that the human was made from a fluid water, okay, and the Quran is describing the steps, and you can look up Professor Moore, Moore, which is a reference in the field, and you would see what he found out about the Quran, what he said about the Quran, okay. He's one of the highest decorated people in the field, and he describes step by step what it says in the Quran, and he end up using these steps. So if somebody's not in the field, I would recommend they do not criticize what is said.
Okay.
I'm still
From
sharing my
Elusive-
screen this whole time.
No,
No.
it's not showing.
Oh, it's not.
From
Okay.
Elusive Viper for $5, they say the topic is the Quran scientific? Why is Samir trying to argue that the Quran is superior to science?
Okay, what I'm trying to do here, and honestly, I'm just being honest and truthful when I tell you that I love science. Okay, science is not something that was made for atheists. Okay, atheists just joined in recently, and they build up on what the theist people have done. So, but the problem that I have is I find that there is so many theories that are built upon each other without any of them being proven, and then these theories will come up supposedly to a certain truth, and then that certain truth will be used to challenge the religions. Okay, and I find that this is disingenuous, and I find it wrong, and I find it so I this is what I tell you. I tell you, go back and fix all these issues that you have with the science right now, because I love it. I love watching the discoveries. I like to see what we can see with Hubble or with Gaia or whatever, all the space missions and all that stuff. But I'm telling you that building these hypotheses, I told you, I challenged you. This is probabilities in mathematics. I tell you guys, just go ahead and try it. Try 0.9%, 90% hypothesis, 90% chance to be right. Just do that times 50. Build 50 of these hypotheses on top of each other. You end up with 0.05% chance that the result will be correct.
Potato.
Okay, super chat from Bitter Truth for $5. They say there was no Earth while there was a Big Bang, and Earth formed after 9 billion years. It's clear that the Quran is representing incorrect science.
No, that is not true. The Quran didn't say that Earth came that he separated, like pulled the Earth and the sky from each other, like if it was a hair out of a dough or something like that. No, that's not what the Quran says.
It says the Earth is created before the stars.
Number one. Number two, I can. You see, I hate to put the burden of my prediction on the religion, but what I. Okay, let's not even go there. The Quran talks about, and then God looks at the sky and it was smoke, and he told the heavens and the earth, come willingly or forcefully, and they say we will come willingly. Okay, so when we're talking about stars, when you look at the formation of the solar system, the theory, that's something that I could somewhat adhere to. When you look at the theory, you see that there was a big cloud, and then the sun formed in the center. It was a cloud of smoke that was hot. It wasn't cold. There was a cloud of smoke, and the sun formed in the center, and supposedly the planets all formed around it and stuff. This part I don't agree about. Okay, and I don't even agree about the way supposedly the gases or whatever just come together, because I believe that theory is flawed. And you can try it. You can try to spray something out of a can in a year and just wait a few billion years and see if everything is going to collect back together. That's not going to happen. Gases don't collect.
You only have to wait like 10 minutes. It falls to the ground and comes together after like 10 minutes.
To the ground.
Yes, the gases, they combine with other things in the air and get smushed, especially like
okay. So
aerosols.
you brought the ground. So you brought the ground to save you out of this. So I'm saying
that's how with the gases, how they come together is this thing called gravity. They get pulled together by gravity. So if you spray a gas in the air, it's also going to get
gases
pulled by
dissipate.
gravity.
Gases dissipate.
All right.
When you blow a fart, it doesn't come together; it dissipates.
Okay. Okay, Samir. Bitter Truth wants to know if you are willing to debate them.
Yeah, sure. He's welcome anytime.
Anytime. All right. From Carlos Santana. Nice to meet you, or have you in the chat, Carlos. Question for TJump: Are people obsessed with the Quran because they prefer a classic story to modern stories?
People are obsessed with the Quran because of cultural conditioning and the fact that it's promoted by the government and forced to be learned by people. And if you don't, you're punished and killed, and apostates are killed. And so it was spread by the sword, and that's why they're obsessed with it, because it's a idea that was spread and has this hell thingy that makes people have some kind of motivation to go believe in it. And if you don't, you're going to hell or whatever. And so it's psychological conditioning, which is why people are obsessed with it.
Gotcha.
That and farts.
Okay, I would like to answer that question too, because it is not true. Quran was not spread by the sword. And, okay, I love making you laugh.
Me too.
Yes, the Quran was not spread by the sword, and if you look at Muslim history books, and you see how the Islam got to different places of the world. You just had an interview recently, a few months ago, with somebody.
Samir, we must keep it short and pithy because it was a question for TJump, and we do have to move on. We have plenty of questions piling up in the Q&A.
Yes, no problem. I'll keep it short. So Islam went to. He wasn't from Pakistan, but he was saying that Islam came through the merchants who settled in his country. Okay, that's the history of his country. But TJump is going to tell him differently. And
well,
because
no, I'm thinking
Muhammad.
So Muhammad spread it by the sword, and if they don't convert, they're going to get killed. That was a thing he did a few times.
Nobody spread it to me by the sword.
That's just not how it works. God. It's like the Christians, they conquered all the Indians and spread Christianity through killing everybody. Oh, but it didn't. But for me, I wasn't converted by mass murder, so obviously it didn't happen. It's a lie.
Okay, and the next one is from April Cox for £2. If science contradicts the Quran, what will you pick?
Okay. Let me ask you. I really want you to think about this one. If I have an envelope here and an envelope here, and I tell you this envelope, okay, will make TJump make a face.
It's a good envelope. I like that one.
Okay, if this envelope has two outcomes, you either lose or tie, and this other envelope, you either win or tie. Which one would you pick? So now let's just. Okay, this is before any proof, before any reasoning, before any morality, before any other aspect of the Quran or the religion. Just based on these two simple things. If an atheist dies and he's wrong, he's in trouble.
Pascal's wager has been
If
proven
he's
false.
not wrong, he ties, he becomes nothing. If I die and I'm wrong, my worst outcome is the atheist's best outcome. I become nothing. But if I'm right, I win. So what would you set yourself for an outcome where the best case scenario is you will tie? Go ahead.
All right, and from Bitter Truth for
no,
$5.
got to pick up on that one. So Pascal's wager is false because under atheism, if you die, there could be a heaven without a God, and so the probability is exactly the same for both. And there could be a God who prefers atheists and only lets atheists into heaven. So again, there's Pascal's wager doesn't actually work to support theism.
Okay, Samir, quickly.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You had the last word.
No, okay. So you're claiming that that there could be life outside of the metaphysical.
Yes, you can have souls without a God. There could be a supernatural without a God.
Okay, there could be souls. Okay, so now I'm just getting that the atheists' goal is just to eliminate the God. They could keep everything after. Everything besides God that the religion would promise, they're okay with that. The only thing they're not okay with is the God.
No, the point is to prove Pascal's wager wrong. You can have the afterlife without the God. Therefore, you don't need to believe in
No,
the
you
God.
can't have the afterlife without the God, because who's gonna organize? who's gonna organize for a bunch of atoms that came together
Buddhism,
in
for
an
example.
insignificant place of the universe
We
to
really
be
must move
together
on.
here and then to come back to be somewhere, those same atoms to be somewhere else in another reality outside of
Brahman. The Brahman is
physical universe.
Brahman is literally an example of this. That's one possibility.
Okay, let Samir just have a quick last word so we can move on.
Okay, I just see that you're open to anything except for God.
Okay. From April Cox for £2. No, I'm sorry. From Bitter Truth for $5. They say, created humans from a clinging clot. Here you go. This is the scientific error.
No, that is not true. I'll pull up the verse and you can see it.
Well, okay, let's just move on. From
Okay,
Davey
let's move
Horn,
on.
he sent the verse in the super chat. So, from Davey Horn for $10 says, if all human knowledge was lost, could Islam be extrapolated from the universe without relying on divine revelation?
Islam is the word of God. So God would not be without a way. If God said that his word would not be lost, and the proof of that is the Quran across the world. There is not two versions of the Quran. I mean, there are a million versions. There is a million revisions. There is million approved and not approved versions of the Bible and stuff. But the Quran, 1,400 years later, God in the Quran said, "I have brought down the reminder, which is the Quran, and I will be protecting it." Okay, so and that is another proof that God will protect the Quran, because there is not a single copy of the Quran that is different than what God sent down. In the whole planet, you can go anywhere on the planet, you can pick any two Qurans, and they would have the same exact. Every dot is the same.
No, they're not.
Okay. From CO2 Metal for $5, they say, Tom, in your condition, are you capable of a normal, loving monogamy in the future?
Capable, yes. Not really what I'm looking for, but yeah.
Okay. From Bitter Truth for $5 says, Surah al-Anbiya, verse 30. earth and sky joint together. Why are you lying?
I did not lie. I specifically said, and I hope you can bear witness that exactly what I said is that the earth and the heavens and the earth were joined together as one mass. Okay? And when I say the earth, I'm talking about the ingredients to make the heavens and the ingredients to make the earth. So what do you call now atoms and protons and neutrons and every type of matter that you want to think of, quarks, whatever. And God separated them, and it was the universe was hot smoke, and God told the heavens and the earth to then come. That's the step later in another verse in the Quran. And he asked them if they would come willingly or forcefully, and they said willingly will come. So there is no contradiction there.
Okay. And from Bitter Truth for $5, they say, can you please set me up to debate with him? Let me know when he's available. Bitter Truth, you can send an email to James at moderndaydebate@gmail.com, I believe. And you can get that ball rolling there. If you've never debated before, it might be more difficult. You can send other people requests to get debates started so that he can have some kind of a idea of where you are as far as that. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Bitter True Elusive Viper for $5 says, if Islam is wrong and another religion is right, you lose.
That is not true, because the Islam came as the last religion after all these religions, and it came believing in every religion that came before it. We do not say that Buddhist was wrong, even if they're not mentioned in the Quran, because we're told that 124,000 prophets and messengers were sent to humanity. So we were told about 25 of them, and that includes Christians and Jewish people, and it includes other prophets like Abraham and Jacob, and so Islam didn't deny the other religions. All the other religions came from God. All these messages came from God. So if I have to follow a message, I would follow that message that came from God, and that's what happened. That message didn't come from another entity. The religions are not fighting with each other. Each one says I came from a different galaxy or another group of aliens that sent me or something. They all come from God. So this is the last message, an updated message from God for humanity, and I follow it. So I have no fear.
All right. I don't think that we'll be able to get to any more super chats after these next two. We're going to try to get through them. From Bitter Truth for $5 says, sun set in murky water. Also, hadiths, Muhammad said, sun prostrate underneath of Allah. Throne asked permission to rise with Allah permission. This is error.
No, that is not error. God said that he rolls the day. Not actually, if it makes any sense in English, the word kora means ball. Kawara means to make something in the shape of a ball. Okay? And God says that he balls the night into the day and the day into the night. So this is for those people that would claim that the Islam talks about a flat earth or something. It rolls like a ball. So we have earth that rolls. The night and the day will succeed like a ball around the earth. Okay? And then when the Prophet was talking about Ain Hami'ah, he was talking about the sun setting down in the water, because right now you go watch the sun set in the ocean. You see the sun set in the ocean. It doesn't mean that that star is actually set in the ocean. Otherwise, you will see a lot of smoke. It doesn't happen. And when God talks about when the Prophet ﷺ in the Hadith talks about the sun setting under the throne of God, he's talking God's throne. God in the Quran said that his throne is bigger than the heavens and the earth. So basically the universe that you see, and the universe that you know, and the universe that astronomers tell you about, God's throne is bigger than that. Okay, without a very tiny scale. So
I have no idea how this answers the question. Zero idea.
That's fine. I don't know what.
All right. Last one. Well, there's another one after this, but I really don't think we're going to get to it. From Bitter Truth for $5 says, this guy Samir is really full of fun. He thinks we're dumb.
He thinks he's the smartest person I've ever met. That one was an interesting quote. I loved that one.
Yes, I am, and I for a reason. For a reason, because I don't think you met a lot of smart people.
All right.
Yep. None of the professors I've spoken to, nope, they're all dumb. All dumb.
No,
dummies,
if they
all
tell
dumb
you infinity added up together equals -12, yes.
Oh, God.
All right. And then Bitter Truth again for $5 says moon split in two pieces and joint back. Nobody in the I'm not sure if there's any more of that, but nobody in the world would nobody in the world see even no scientific evidence. How would you prove that?
Okay, two things. I just showed you that the number one, he didn't say split. The prophet didn't say split. Said inshaqqa. Inshaqqa means crack. The moon cracked. I just showed you an article that shows cracks in the moon, and it shows that the moon has cracked over and over and over throughout history. And I just gave you a theory from myself why I believe, based on the prediction in the Quran or on a prophecy in the Quran, that the moon will actually crack before it's actually destroyed into thousands of pieces. That's what I started the video. If you didn't see it, I would love it if you go back and watch it.
Rocks have cracks. Genius.
All right. And I think that is the end of our super chat. So that is the end of our Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Let me just get to where I need to go.
Antipode asks, are there only girls in heaven for Islam, or are there also women in heaven?
No, everyone that lived here has a chance to go to heaven.
Okay. So before we go, I just want to thank the moderators in the chat. Thank you to James for creating this platform, everybody in the audience who sent super chats and elevated the conversation, the debaters who are the lifeblood of the show. So like it if you loved it, share it if you want to spread it, and subscribe because we have plenty more debates coming your way, including tomorrow night, Fight the Flat Earth. We'll be debating Howard. So that should be juicy as usual. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everyone. Have a great night. And remember, keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Have a great night.